All praises to the Most High, Father Yahuwah. I give thanks to the Most High. I give thanks to Yahushua Mashiach, who died for our sins, that we may have the right to the tree of life. This is Burning Lamps. And as we look around today, we see everything that's taking place. We see the changes in the world. We see COVID-19. We see things that we believe that are on the rise, and many of the things is like inevitable because we see that it's coming due to Yah's word and the things that we see that are taking place, like food shortages and economic collapses. We see extreme weather conditions taking place. We see people becoming more and more wicked. The wicked shall wax worse and worse, as he said, and we see this taking place. We see murders. We see sexual immorality. We see witchcraft. We see all these things rising, okay? And we can see that the world is changing. Those especially who was born at least in the 90s, in the 80s, we can really see that things have changed, especially us in the 80s and back. And those who were born further in the 50s and the 60s, they can really see that the changes came, what it has come. And that shows us that we are living in the time of the end. And Satan is planting seeds of wickedness in the minds of the masses as we turn on our TVs and the things that, the music that they're pushing. The things have become so wicked exceedingly, and it's literally performing witchcraft on the masses where they're becoming one with what they're seeing and hearing. But the seeds of Elohim must be planted, which is the word, because words are very spiritual. And let us not ever think that words is something to take lightly. And the word of Yah is holy. Okay. So what I'm going to read today is the sower of the seeds, the parable that the Mashiach taught. We're going to go to Matthew 13 and start at verse 1. And it says, "The same day went Yeshua out of the house and sat by the seaside. And the great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat. And the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow." A sower is a person that plants seeds. "And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. So some seeds fell on the side of the ground on which they should have been planted. They didn't fall on good ground or good soil. They fell somewhere where and it could be any type of ground where it didn't fall. It didn't go deep inside the ground, pretty much, where the birds came and devoured it up. Verse 5, "Some fell upon stony places." So these seeds fell upon stony places like concrete. Okay. The first seeds, they pretty much got lost and the birds came and got them, right? But these seeds fell upon the stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched because they had no root. They were withered away. So when the seed falls upon concrete, it has no protection. The soil covers it and protects it from getting scorched by the sun. Verse 7, "And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But others fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30-fold. Who have ears to hear, let him hear. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given. and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever have not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Because they were not seeking him. And since they were not seeking him and seeking to do the will of Yah and seeking Yeshua to follow in the mission and the purpose that Yah put in place and being obedient, they were not given the wisdom and the knowledge of the disciples. This is a choice we must make. Verse 13. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And the scriptures in the book of Daniel, it says, chapter 12, it said the wicked will not understand in these days, but the wise shall understand. The people that are obedient to Yah's will understand the things that is taking place now. And they will be able to get through these times, get through these times. But the people that are not seeking to be obedient to the will of Yah will not be able to get through these times, and will, because they won't understand. They will make irrational decisions that will lead them to sin because they choose to sin and not obey the will of Yah. But it will lead them into more and more sin. It will lead them into paths of destruction. Okay. Verse 14, it says, and in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which say, by hearing shall you hear, and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see, and shall not perceive. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. See? So you have, in order to understand the scriptures and understand the word of Yah and the teachings of the master, Yahushua Mashiach, you have to first seek to be obedient to their will, seek to be obedient to the word of Yah in order to fully begin to understand. Okay. But look what he says. 16, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which you see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear, and have not heard them. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone hear the word of the kingdom and understand it not, then come the wicked one, and catch away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside. So he says this person, when you tell them about the word, when you give them the word of Yah, when you teach to them the kingdom of Elohim, and you tell them to repent for the time is close, they don't understand it. And Satan is right there seeing that they don't understand, right? So he says, then come the wicked one and catch that which was sown in their heart, which was the word of Yah. How do he catch it? When you teach a person the kingdom of Yah and they don't understand, and they go about their day and they don't even seek understanding, they don't go home and say, let me pray and try to read it on my own, or they don't even come back to you and say, hey, I didn't understand it, or at that moment I don't understand it, can I get further teaching? What these people do is just carelessly go about and they don't understand, and the enemy will come with different philosophies, different theories, different belief systems, and pretty much cause them to not believe in the kingdom and cause them to doubt and take that which was sown out of their heart. Okay. If you teach a person that, hey, we were created after the image of Elohim, after the image of Yah, and we are created to live and be like him, and you show them Genesis chapter 1, and if they don't understand that, guess what? The enemy can work through a person and come with the most satanic doctrine which is ever created, one of the most satanic doctrines which was ever created, which is the evolution theory, that man evolved from animals. And he may teach them that. And since they didn't understand what you just taught them, they became deceived and began to doubt and not believe in the word. Okay. Let's push forward. It says, But he that receives seed into the stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receive it. Yet he have not root in himself. So this person, when you give them the word, they hear the word and they receive it with joy. They say, hey, this is the truth. This is the way to salvation. I believe this, right? But yet he don't have root in himself. So he only endured this for a while. But when tribulation or persecution arise because of the word, by and by he is offended. So this person, when they hear the word, they're not doing the things that would root them in the word. They're not reading the word. They're not praying. They're not fasting. They're not seeking to obey the will and the commandments and the ways of Yah. And since they're not doing these things that they're supposed to be doing, soon as persecution or tribulation arise, they may go home and say, or they may come across parents or family members and say, hey, this is the truth right here. We are to do this. We are to obey the will of Yah. We are not to celebrate Christmas and Easter and all these different things, right? And an argument may break out, and the family will begin to persecute them because of this. And since they are not rooting themselves in the word of Yah, they begin to get offended and they just turn away from the walk completely. I have seen this happen. Okay? I have seen this happen. And since they didn't root themselves in the word of Yah, they don't have understanding that this was meant to take place anyway. When you read the word of Yah and you pray and seek him, you will understand that this will take place. But they don't understand because they didn't do the things that it took to get themselves rooted in the word. Verse 22. He also that receives seed among the thorns is he that hear the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he become unfruitful. These people hear the word, okay, and they believe it, but they could never get past that, just hearing the word. They hear the word, but they never begin to obey the word. They never begin to seek to live the word. And they don't definitely get past that, so they don't seek to even teach the word or fulfill the will or purpose that Yah has in store for them to glorify him and preach and glorify the kingdom and plant seeds however it may will. Because they're distracted by their jobs. They're distracted by the lure and chasing of money, the rat race, the American Babylonian monetary system that's put in place, the American dream of having status, of degrees and big houses and all of the money. These people have money, but they seek to obtain more money, bigger houses, more cars. And since they put all their time and effort, how can you present your body in service to Yah when your body is always chasing money? When you're working 14, 16 hours a day? When you're constantly worried about obtaining more degrees, so you give your time to those things and all these other things, you could never begin to bear fruit for Yah because you're too distracted by the American dream and the rat race system. Verse 23. But he that receives seed into good ground is he that hear the word and understand it, which also bear fruit and bring it forth, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. This person hears the word. They believe the word. And since they believe the word, they seek to become obedient in the word. They seek to do the things that they know that Yah and Yeshua spoke of. They seek to become closer with Yah through prayer, through reading his word, through fasting, through seeking him in several other ways. They begin to bear fruit with their actions by preaching the word or teaching or whatever gift that Yah may put in them. It may be through music or charity or ministering, okay, being a bishop, a prophet or a prophetess, a healer, okay? They do these things. They seek the Most High will and His purpose for their lives, and they begin to bear fruit, okay? And this must be done through it all, through COVID-19, through food shortages, okay, through economic collapses, through tribulations. These things must take place. You must still bear fruit, okay? Because those who the seed fell among the thorns, many of them, they are distracted with money and the cares of this world and bills and food. So when COVID-19 and all these different things are brought about, and the government and this wicked satanic system begins to create all these different mandates and laws, many people will literally put to the side the will of Yah and the things that they're really supposed to do, because they're thinking how I'm going to eat, or how I'm going to be able to pay these bills, or do this or do that. When the Most High said that if you seek the kingdom of Elohim, all these things shall be added unto you. And persecutions and tribulations will arise, and those who seed fell upon the stony places won't be able to endure the times that's ahead, or the times that's now. If you can't endure the persecutions of parents and family members, how will you endure the persecutions that may come by Satan's children and his wicked system that's put in place? So I pray that you got something